Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to Just Bloom with Kiki Orr.
I'm a yes girl, and I'm proud of it. Over the years, my relationship to the word had shifted because that was not always the case. I was always a yes, but my yeses were often rooted in anxiety, fear, hesitation, doubt. I wondered, whether or not my yeses would be reciprocated. I questioned why someone would ask me when certainly they could ask someone else who probably was more qualified or had more knowledge. What I didn't know then and what I know now is that my yeses was allowing me to step outside of my comfort zone. It was truly where the magic lived. And so this episode number 2, 3 letters, sweet and simple, YES. Say it often, say it loud, and say it proud. Yes. As I said, yes has so much magic within it. It is filled with possibility, opportunity, creativity. It really opens the door for you. So let me break it down so it may forever be broken. Do you know what movie that's from? Oh, my favorite movie, Love Jones. But we're not going to break anything because, we're here to build and elevate and lift up. But I will say this. Number one, when it comes to saying yes, know that there's no such thing as perfect timing. In fact, my middle daughter came to me in her senior year of high school. This is about a year or two after I had lost my 6-figure income. Now I was working, but I definitely had not recovered from the loss of the income that I had. I had an older daughter in college. And what I always said to my children, what I teach my children is to ask for the things that they want. And even though they may know or have some insight or intel to what my financial situation may or may not be, that should not be an indicator for them not to ask. I am responsible for my answers and they're responsible for their request. So she made a request and I said yes to her. I didn't know how I was going to get the money and I didn't know how I was going to get the money. And as a result of me saying yes, I reached out to a friend to say, hey, listen, I made a commitment to my daughter. I said, yes, she can go to Ghana. At the time, I didn't know it was Ghana, but yes, she can go to Africa so that she could have this community service experience. And then she shared with me another friend of hers who had taken these young folks, she'd say high school students, to Ghana the year prior. And so I reached out to her and we connect. And let me tell you what ended up happening. This is just so beautiful and so amazing when you are a yes. And again, doors just begin to open. What was going to be my daughter's community service opportunity just for her at the time ended up being a grassroots opportunity where we got together and invited people we invited women of the African diaspora to submit applications to be part of the journey of going to Ghana with us. It was no longer a community service trip. It became a service learning opportunity. That's something that we learned as we were planning for the trip. 10 women of the African diaspora. I had never planned on going with my daughter. Remember, it was her ask, her request, and something that I was looking to do to support her with. Well, I ended up going to Ghana with her. So did another mother and her daughter. While we were preparing for the trip, we also learned so much about ourselves and sisterhood and redlining and what it meant to be in relationship with the Ghanaian folks and the fact that we weren't going over there to give them anything, but it was an exchange. Sometimes we can reject an opportunity that could be life-changing because of our fears, our insecurities, our limited beliefs, our limitations on conditions. And we become fixated on those, what we like to call disempowering things or circumstances. And I did not want to do that for my daughter. Because what I didn't share also was that while my finances were limited, because this was a grassroots effort and because we were doing this with the community at large and what we wanted to create and be able to bring to Ghanaian people was something that they wanted and needed, we were able to raise over $33,000, which helped us with being able to get over to Ghana and also being able to bring the Ghanaian people what they wanted, which were some educational books. It still remains one of the highlights of my experience, and I got to do it with my daughter. So remember that it's not always about the timing, because had I been fixated on the timing, this wouldn't occur. So I ask you, what could be created in your life if you flip that switch from a no to a yes? What could possibly emerge? The other thing to know about the yes is that yes is action oriented, whereas no is adverse to actions. That's just what it is. When you say yes, it will call you forward to be able to make things happen. When you say no, that's it. Discussion over, door shut, nothing else is occurring. But yes is like, okay, so now I said yes. What do I need to do? How do I get to move? Who do I need to call? You start to be in motion. Say yes to your deepest desires. Say yes to transforming your life. Say yes to you. Secondly, saying yes really illuminates this path for yourself. Requires a level of courage, an ability to take risk. Do you know that we say no more often than we say yes? In fact, I was looking up, and it was on the mission.org site, and it said that 7,000 yes is heard 7,000 times, whereas no is repeated 50,000 times. So it's no wonder that we have these hesitations and resistance to yes, because we don't hear it enough. In fact, when I think about our childhood and growing up, think about how often we heard the word no. Part of it was because it was intended for us to be able to survive. And so then we go from hearing no a lot and then needing to be able to say you can be a yes, but how do we flip that switch, if you will? How do we go from changing those messages that had been taught to us, unlearning those no's that were meant to keep us safe, and then now saying take risk? It's like, how do I go from that to this? And so it really is about doing a lot of unlearning. And I think part of it is just the practice of continuing to say yes to yourself and realizing that saying no or playing it safe is really diminishing our opportunities. And we get to move from that survival mentality and more towards empowering thoughts. Yes could be really affirming. The other thing that yes allows us to do is to accept some less than desirable conditions. You lose your job? Yes. Because we are trusting that other opportunities await us around the corner. Yes, opportunities that we don't know of, opportunities that we can't see yet, but we trust that they exist. So as I started out at the beginning, 3 words, sweet and simple, YES. Yes. There's no such thing as perfect timing. Yes opens up doors and creates possibilities and opportunities. Yes takes you outside of your comfort zone. Yes calls you into action. And yes has you accept the circumstances as is, trusting that there is another opportunity to come. So I'll leave you with these words of Paulo Coelho, the author of The Alchemist, and I quote, "If you must say yes, say it with an open heart. And if you must say no, say it without fear." May this be a reminder that whether you're in your first season or your 50th, it's never too late to just bloom.